Welcome to the weekly review for Week 9 for the Freedom Fantasy League. Week 9, what a time. It was rough, it was fine. Hopefully the Lord was with you. Did your choice of who to start bring you a win or a wet fart and make you ask, why do we play this game that is so cruel? All right, on to the match scores for Week 9.
Good question. So let's
Yes.
see who got a win and who got a wet fart. All right. Blitz upset the gut 229.6 to 171.01, giving Blitz the start of a 2-game win streak. Blitz had an incredible day. Even though he had two disappointing players, the others more than made up for their inadequacies, leading Blitz to earn the highest score this week. Congrats to Blitz. Yeah.
Yeah.
The Gut had four players that he plucked from the pool within the past 2 weeks go off. So even though he's 2-7, the Gut looks to be reloaded and is making a final push for the playoffs. Keep on fighting. Right. Mom Spaghetti, Sauce, Form Blazing Sword, 191.1 to 153.45. Mom Spaghetti had all of her players either come close to their projected points or uber exceed them, with her only disappointment being her rock, Jamar Chase. Yeah. Form Blazing Sword held his own until normal high producer Kyron Williams produced a dud by his standards, and that Kirk Cousin Drake London stack almost worked. But when you have a team hitting on all cylinder stands one, then your team has to be on point. Yeah. So it's not due to being a bad team that caused Form Blazing Sword to lose. So once again, you got fucked, Cookie. It happens to the best of us. Yeah. That's starting to be a reoccurring theme. Yeah.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
One more thing we like to point out. We like to point out good moves when we see them in this league. So Mom Spaghetti gets a mention for dropping the Cleveland defense, who's on their bye week, for San Francisco's defense, who was also dropped for being on their bye week the previous week.
Mm-hmm.
So that defense was in the pool. That
Mm-hmm.
doesn't seem like much of a mention on its own until you add that the very next day, Cleveland traded one of their leading sack and tackle leaders, linebacker Za'Darius White, to the
Mm-hmm.
Commanders. And with that, you have a really great move.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. She dropped something that was doing good for her, but couldn't help her this week due to the bye week. Grabbed something equally as good, but then the good thing she dropped devalued the very next day. Yeah.
Yep.
So it was great, and she dropped it because on bye week, but then it also lost its value, right?
Yeah.
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 Yeah. It's just crazy how fantasy football works that way. But it's also a lesson in not being afraid to make moves when you're hit by the bye week bug. Yeah. In this case, Mom's Spaghetti not only filled a need due to the bye week, but also upgraded due to the trade, right? Because
Yeah.
she got lucky because she needed to do it by the bye week, but as it turned out, she needed to do it anyway
Yeah.
because Cleveland wasn't going to be as strong because they lost one of their key sackers and tacklers
Yeah.
in Za'Darius White.
That's correct.
So kind of got ahead of the need right there. So that's very fortunate how that worked out for her.
She's a witch. She's a
She's a
witch.
witch. Yes. So carrying on now, TGMP, the great and mighty Pooh, pooed all over say Super Mariota Brothers, beating them 162.25 to 127.5. This was TGMP's first win since week 4. That's a whole month of losing, but it looks like things might be turning around for him. With Tua coming back, there's a better chance for Tyreek Hill to return to form and his keeper, Christian McCaffrey, to come back this week. Well, maybe. We'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll find out if that CMC shadow that's creeping up is a huge monster, or it was really just a little mouse that was standing just really close to the flashlight. We will see.
Yeah.
Super Mariota Brothers and Saquon Barkley and his high flying acrobats. Seriously, if you haven't seen the play where Barkley jumped over the defender backwards, yeah, pause the video and search for it.
Mm-hmm.
Since you're obviously watching YouTube already, like you're here right
Mm-hmm.
now. So go ahead, we'll wait. It's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. All right, we're back. Pretty sweet, right? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, he paid for that move by hurting his back. But yeah, but not before he gave S&M Brothers an incredible 42.9 points. But he was let down by all of his other players, which led to the 127.5 points, which is the lowest score of the week. But
Yeah.
Barkley jumped backwards. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hurt his back.
Yeah, he hurt his back though. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dang it. Yeah.
Yeah.
He should bounce back. He should bounce back since Super Mariota Brothers doesn't have long streaks either way, winning or losing. So he just keeps plumbing along.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, guys. That's all for our updates. So this is going to lead us to the match of the week.
Yeah. We finally had it. A Titan versus a Titan. Yeah. Number 1, Snake Eyes faced number 2, Blue Hair White Dragon in an attempt to keep his amazing 6-game win streak alive. BHWD got the first blow in on Halloween when Joe Mixon scored above his projected points, starting things off right with 24.6 points. His play flipped the odds in Blue Hair White Dragon's favor and, very appropriate for the day, made Snake Eyes feel something he hadn't felt in weeks: fear. As the Sunday game started, the two Goliaths stood in the middle of the ring exchanging haymakers, and it appeared that neither was going to gain much ground on the other. Snake Eyes had Josh Allen score 53.95 points, but BHWD answered back with Jalen Hurts' 49.7 points. Snake Eyes had Derrick Henry go off for 34.3 points, but then BHWD quickly countered with Alvin Kamara's 37.5 points. That shake you felt on Sunday wasn't thunder, everybody. It was these two teams clashing. So, when the power is the same, it's strategy that wins the day, and this match was no exception. Without anyone realizing, right before the Sunday matches started, Snake Eyes switched out David Montgomery with Chase Brown. Now, it's understandable to switch out Knuckles, as it apparently Montgomery's nickname, for someone named Chase on the Bengals, but not Chase Brown. That shrewd move was a huge deciding factor in the outcome, since Knuckles scored a respectable 16.1 points, but Chase Brown went nuclear for an incredible 35.2 points. Yeah, that move helped Snake Eyes poison Blue Hair White Dragon 202.6 to 174.1 and increasing his ever-growing win streak to 7. Next week, Snake Eyes takes on Blitz, who is the only team in the whole league to hand the league leader his only loss way back in week 2. Blue Hair White Dragon will look to reignite as she takes on third place, the Doc. All right, let's move on, bro, to the blowout of the week.
All right. This past 2 weeks is exactly how fantasy football goes. After being thrown on the pile of Snake Eyes mini victims, Oh My Gato was the recipient of the blowout of the week. Well, the Lord finally said yes to Oh My Gato, and he was able to experience something that eluded him for most of the season: a win. Yeah. Oh My Gato gets the blowout of the week over the Doc, beating him 191.23 to 129.2. Oh My Gato had a great showing that would have beaten the majority of the teams this past week, but the real reason for the win is something that I haven't seen in many years of playing fantasy football. The worst luck ever to hit one team in 1 week hit the dock this week. Yeah. It all started when New Orleans quarterback Derek Carr threw what players describe as a hospital ball to Chris Olave. If you're not familiar with the term, a hospital ball is when a quarterback throws a pass so high that it causes the wide receiver to stretch to his maximum ability, leaving him wide open to injury when hit. And that's exactly what happened. Yes, early in the game, the hospital ball was thrown. Chris Olave caught it, and off to the hospital he went with the concussion. Yes, 2.8 points, and he's out of the game, if not longer. Yeah. Then Dak Prescott wasn't having a great game, but with a quarter to go, he simultaneously injured his finger and his hamstring, with the latter likely putting him on IR. Yeah, only 24.15 points from the quarterback spot for the doc. Yeah, bad luck.
Two things.
So 2 is a bad week. Yeah, we can all agree on that. That's bad. But at the end of the first half, AJ Brown lands awkwardly after catching a ball and is out for the rest of the game with the injury, only giving the doc 6.1 points from a normally high producer. Yes.
Right.
Bad things come in threes, right? Yeah, so that has to be it. He's done, right? We're done. Not wrong. Yeah. After just 1 quarter of football, Puka Nacua decides to become Pancha Nacua and swung on a defender, getting him ejected from the game after only earning 2.6 points for the doc.
Yeah.
Why do players punch other players while they're wearing helmets?
I don't know.
Well, just like how many licks it takes to get to the center of a Tootsie Pop, the world will never know.
No.
Now, normally, the doc has really strong fantasy football armor and can take 1 and 2 bad luck hits with no problem. 3, maybe. 4, no way, doc. It just wasn't your day. You just can't take that many shots. Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Got too many shots. So
Yeah, here comes again, bro. Here comes again, right? You got fucked, Cookie. Happens to the best of us. Yeah.
Got too many shots.
Here it comes again. Yeah.
Yeah, you and I share the same line. Yeah. But that's okay. The doc will heal thyself as he takes on Blue Hair White Dragon next week. And Oh My Gato will try to beat his wife, Mom Spaghetti, as they battle for playoff position.
Waka.
It's terrible. It's terrible, but yeah.
Terrible and funny at the same time.
Yeah, because it's funny because it's.
How long you been beating your wife?
Oh man, it's awful. All right, good recap there, bro. All right, man, let's move on and see how everybody sits with the rankings after week 9. All right, number 1, after knocking off his closest competition, Snake Eyes is still at the top with an incredible 8-1 record. Interestingly, after this amazing feat, the once boisterous king has remained quiet. Could he have learned humility? Yeah, I think an injury to CeeDee Lamb kind of helps with that, I think. Yeah. Number 2, still sitting at second, is Blue Hair White Dragon with an impressive 6-3 record. Number 3, rounding out the top 3 of the league, the Doc. Still sitting there at 3 with a record of 5-4, but a whole bunch of questions to address on his once robust, now thin roster. Now hanging out in 4th is Foreign Blazing Sword, also with a 5-4 record, and now is only 25 points away from overtaking the Doc for 3rd. Yeah, so the top 4 stayed the same as last week, but there were some changes to the rest of the order. In 5, after she gave Foreign Blazing Sword his 4th loss of the season, Mom Spaghetti reclaimed the 5th spot that she lost the previous week with a 4-5 record. Moving up 1 from 7th, Oh My Gato is now sitting at 6th with a 4-5 record. Also moving up a spot to seventh, Blitz is there with his 4-5 record and only less than 50 points away from being in the playoffs. Dropping all the way down from fifth, Super Mariota Brothers lands at eighth place, but also with a 4-5 record. So that's five spots,
Yeah.
5 through 8, that
Yeah.
have the same record.
It's all tied.
Yeah. The second half of the season is going to be exciting. It's going to be exciting.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and at ninth, TGMP moved up from the 10th spot with his recent win and sits at 3-6, but with a reloaded roster and within shouting distance of a playoff spot. And also with a record of 2-7, the music to our ears, the Gut is in 10th place. Why I said also, I don't know why. But yeah, he's the only one. He's the only one with a 2-7 record.
Hey,
Yeah.
10th
Yeah.
place, but like we
Yeah.
said earlier, it seems like he might be surging.
Yeah, that's
Which
right.
which also brings up our next point.
Yeah, interesting.
So
Interesting.
in Freedom Fantasy League, the philosophy of our league was to create a fantasy football league that gave the managers as many options possible to win the championship. That's what we want to do. We wanted to have good competitive play against good, solid managers who are always wanting to win, who are always engaged, who are always playing, always trying to do their best, right? But we realized over the last few years in our league, we realized that there's always some teams that start out slow or get some bad injuries in the beginning, and they get a bad shake and they end up in the lower spots and they can't make it out.
Mm-hmm.
Well, or they have a hard time making it to our sixth place to
Mm-hmm.
make the playoffs. Then all of a sudden, in review, because we're always reviewing our league, we I compared our league to other leagues all the time, and I found that many leagues have 8 positions that go to playoffs. And so I talked with commissioner over here, and I said, "Hey, man, why don't we do that? Why don't we um, have 8 places?" And we said, "I don't know. We just set it up in the sixth." So I propose that we consider as managers to move starting this year, like as soon as possible, move this year's playoffs from six positions to 8 positions. The only change we would still be playoffs in week 15, 16, and the championship game Rambo being played on the 17th. But all it would do is eliminate first and second place from having a bye week, but it would allow 2 more teams to make it into the playoffs. I think this makes it more exciting. This makes it more challenging. And it also helps give other teams who got that late start or teams that are like repositioning because they had, let's say, someone put on IR early. Now they're coming back. Now that person can boost their team up and they can start surging. Or someone who may have reorganized or made a trade or something can now may have time to make that trade take effect to end up in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
I just think it's a better position for everybody.
Yeah, I'm very intrigued by by
Hmm.
this proposal, mainly because of the fact that it will help keep players that have had, like Steve was saying, a slow start. That now we're halfway through the season. It gives them a chance to get into the playoffs and a reason to fight, not to give up. Because we're halfway through there. You're looking at your roster or your record, and you're seeing where you're at, and you're in your mind you're thinking, oh man, I got to get on this win streak, and this person's got to get on a lose streak, and all these calculations on how can I get into competition for the Rambo. Well, we only have 2 awards in this league. We have the Rambo, the Rambo, and we have the Mortifer. Okay, that's it. All right, and so by this proposal, this actually gives players more of a chance to win the Rambo, and less of a chance to win the Mortifer, because you can get into the actual championship playoff bracket. So I'm interested. I'm
Yeah,
interested in
you're
this.
right. You're right on that, bro, because it puts you in the championship bracket instead of the Mortifer bracket.
That's right.
You're
That's
right.
right.
So this moves our players with better chances.
Mm-hmm.
It gives our
Yeah.
guys better options. That
Yeah.
that is in tune with the philosophy of the Freedom Fantasy League.
Yeah, and it really
opportunities
is. It really is one
to
of these
win.
things that, in all honesty, whenever Steve was telling me about, like, he's in another league. He's also he's kind of a consultant to another league, also, and so
I'm just the only
he
one that's not a scallywag.
well, right. Well, they always come to him for like, hey, is this a this a legit move?
Yeah,
But it's that
that's no
team.
honor.
Yeah, that league has eight players that go to the playoffs. So it was one of these things that it was like we always set it up for six teams, because I didn't want four teams, so we did six teams. But whenever we were talking, Steve was talking to me about it, and I looked in the options, and I could change it to eight teams right now. But because of it being such a change like that, and there would be the top two teams would have to give up their bye weeks if it was something that was agreed upon by the whole league. We want to make sure and get a vote from everybody. I know that you guys are thankfully. Thank you so much, y'all are watching this. Thank you. I really appreciate it. And that way you can hear why this is being proposed. So we're leaving it up to you guys. A majority rules type of thing. If you want to do it this year, I'm going to send out a group text probably in about a day because I want to give people time to watch this video and then send out a group text. See what you vote. If you vote yes, then it'll happen this year. And if you vote no, that's fine. It's good. It's okay. Would want you to respond in the group text, but we'll probably revisit it when we have our managers meeting next year and see what people think then. Because I can understand making changes like this in the beginning of the year is kind of weird, but we want to make sure and get everybody's thoughts and their opinions on it. But it really is to help open up competition and also to help give the teams that had like a bad run, give them hope that they could still make it to the Rambo because that's what this is, man. And you can play the whole season because by now, dude, if you got a really bad record, you're like, what chances do I have to get into the playoffs? I mean, that's starting to creep in your mind. You're starting to do the math.
Yeah,
Expanding it to two players,
I
it
like
makes
that
it
it
a little
opens
better.
it up for Cinderella teams.
Yeah, yeah,
Like I just
absolutely.
like competition. So I think all of us here are open to competition. None of us here are afraid of competition or
Yeah,
afraid to put their team up against another team. And I just think it gives us more chance to win. I mean, it's our only prize. So I think it's a great idea, but it is in the middle of the season, so we do need majority consent to move
yep,
forward with
yep,
it. That's the right
yep,
thing to do.
yep,
We always want to do the right thing, so we just
yep.
always bring it up, talk about it. Look forward for that group text coming up here in the next few days, and please let your voice be heard because the majority of those votes is what we're going to go with.
Yeah,
So be
yeah.
heard,
Oh,
or let someone else vote
okay.
for you.
Wow. Is there going to be a time limit? I guess like on when the polls close, and so.
Well, I guess there has to be because the sooner the better on this thing.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to see it done before. I guess the games start next Thursday. What do you think?
I would say by the end of the last game on Monday. Yeah, Monday night
Week
like next.
10,
The end
week
of the
10.
yeah, yeah,
So
the
you
end
so we either going to not move it or move it after the Monday night football game of week 10.
that night. Yeah, well, yeah. Whenever that game is over, whenever the
And
clock
that's the
strikes,
deadline.
when the clock strikes zero on the end of Monday Night Football, then that's when
Voting's
we go.
over.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah,
That sounds
yeah.
fair.
And
That's plenty
and
of
and,
time, a lot of time.
and if it's tied, then the commissioners will break the tie. Yeah,
Okay. Sounds
yeah.
good.
So
And then
so so that means that we're not voting, bro. We don't put any votes out, right? If we break the tie, is that what that means?
mm, no,
No, we
no.
still vote.
Now I think about it, we're going to vote, but
Okay,
I think the
okay.
tie. I think it has to pass by majority, or it doesn't pass. A tie isn't a majority.
Okay, so okay, there we go. So you and I are
Mm-hmm.
gonna vote, and
Mm-hmm.
then if
It
it
has to be a
ties,
majority. If it
okay,
ties or
that's
less
good.
than that, then it's not going
Yeah,
to go
I like that.
because I
That's
want a
it.
clear majority.
Yes, I
I
like
want a
that.
mandate.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
makes sense. That
something
makes
like this
sense.
being moved in the middle of the year needs to have a clear majority of the
That's
owners
right.
of the
That's right.
teams, the managers, saying yes, it's good. If it's tied or less than a majority, then no, we're not going
Yeah.
to do it. We'll talk about
Yeah.
it next year.
Yeah.
But I want an overwhelming vote,
Well,
majority
at
vote.
least a majority. Yeah. Right.
I want a
Okay.
majority vote. That's what I mean. I
Yeah.
want it to be majority.
Yeah. Let's do it.
Look forward for that.
Yeah.
All right.
Coming
So
in a day or two.
it's always something
Probably
new
Friday.
in Fantasy Football League. In our Freedom Fantasy League, we're always looking to improve. There's always something new.
So I gotta watch the videos, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know what's not new? Is our one of our favorite episodes that likes to highlight some embarrassing situations with a segment we like to call "Oops, I Shit My Pants." Yes. Let's see who's on the list this week. Oh, we'll start off with the Doc, who wasn't surgical with this one when he started Brees Hall over Tony Pollard, who scored over twice as many points as Hall. Turn your head when you let this one out. Yeah. All right. Oh, it wasn't his underwear. It was his underwear, not his team that was blitzed when he started Wandale Robinson over Jerry Judy, who scored 4 times higher than Robinson. Here's what that sounded like. The king pooped in his crown when Snake Eyes started Brian Thomas Jr. over Jackson Smith and Jigba, who scored 8 times more points than Brian Thomason Jr. This is what happens when you left SJSN's 48.5 points on the bench. Dang, too. Yeah. Her decision was weak. Her pants were heavy. Foam all up in her jeans. What's that smell? It's mom's spaghetti. When she started Jamar Chase over Tank Dell, who more than doubled Chase's score. This is what that rotten decision sounded like. Okay, last one. Once again, the great and mighty Pooh lived up to his fecal name whenever he started Xavier Worthy over Tyler Lockett, who scored over 16 times higher than Worthy. 16. This is what we all heard when we saw that negative 0.10 points in your starting roster. Yeah.
Yeah, that was bad. That one was bad. Oh man, yeah. Whew, so not worthy. Not worthy.
That's
Yeah.
not worthy.
Yeah. All right. Want to make sure to let everybody know the bye weeks are back. Yeah, in week 10, the teams that are on bye are the Cleveland Browns, the Green Bay Packers, the Las Vegas Raiders, and the Seattle Seahawks. So plan accordingly. All right. So that wraps up the week 9 review. Remember, everyone, please pay your $20 entrance fee. This is what goes to the payout to the winner. So let's all pay our part so the winner can get their full amount. Yeah, remember, we're all friends and family here. If you want to know where to pay, make sure to text. You can text the group text, ask where it's at, and then we'll let you know where you can pay. It's a real simple question, easy. All right, so with that, congratulations to the winners, consolations to the losers, and see you guys and gals next week.
Yes, until next week, stay strong, be of good courage, and long live the Republic.